I'm recording this on my laptop and the mic quality is really dog shit, so you guys are just gonna have to deal. Hey guys, it's Nick Creator of Multibagel. As you can see, I haven't uploaded in over 2 years now. I want to make this video to explain a little as to why. But first off, I want to celebrate the channel hitting a total of 50 million views. Thank you so much for your support. Making videos that make actual money has been life-changing. By the way, this video was scripted because I'm bad at running off the cuff and I end up missing a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So where have I been? Well, let's run it back to the Android 18 video. After this one, I started taking school way more seriously, as I had already picked a healthcare major. But something got in the way of my school progress. I started smoking a lot of weed. Like, a lot of weed. In the beginning it was amazing. I bought one of those badass electronic dab rigs and everything. My consumption was off the charts, and it led me down a dangerous path. My short-term memory began to be unclear, and I also began staying up later and waking up earlier slowly over the course of 2 weeks. I have sleep apnea, which is a genetic illness that causes you to be extremely tired during the day, but by combining weed and caffeine, also known as the hippie speedball, made me functional. After this period of not sleeping, I started to get a strange feeling that something was going wrong with me mentally. My roommate drove me to a crisis center and they just told me to get sleep. I was a little stunned as I felt something was seriously wrong and I didn't understand what. I gave my roommates my weed gear, but in Oregon there's a dispensary on every corner, so I ended up just buying more, unfortunately. This is where the voices began. The first symptoms of my schizoaffective disorder, which is essentially schizophrenia and bipolar disorder rolled into one. I started to hear crying and screaming both outside and inside my house that was not real. Now, to backpedal to my childhood, I was raised in the Church of Scientology. I'm not interested in talking about Scientology, as my immediate family members will cease speaking with me. This story doesn't really involve the church, it involves ex-Scientologists. Leah Remini is the most famous ex-church member. She made 3 seasons of a TV show about the church, with which only I've watched a little, but her book Troublemaker is what got me out of Scientology before the church really had a chance to ruin my life. Cedric Bixler-Zavala is the lead singer of my favorite band, the Mars Volta. I don't know much about the guy except that he's a very talented singer, but the shocking thing I want to point out here is that Cedric is actually an ex-Scientologist like me. He posts really funny shit on Instagram, so one day I messaged him years ago about a song I like, and I didn't even know he was an ex-Scientologist when I started listening to his music, which is something you probably wouldn't believe because there's not many Scientologists. Frankly, I've always held the opinion that Leah and Cedric and people like them could be doing a lot more to fight Scientology, and I also felt like they didn't really give a shit about people like me, people who were born into it. So, one time, I got extremely baked and then live streamed myself ranting about these two people for about 42 minutes after not sleeping for like 24 hours. In the moment I was extremely manic, but I had not passed over the complete psychosis quite yet. The really quick start in my full-on psychotic episode is this simple fact. I don't know if it was before the live stream or after the live stream, but Cedric saw my message. This is something Instagram shows you when someone sees your message. So I basically went fully psychotic, suffering from a delusion that these ex-Scientologists were all going to meet me and we were going to work together. I went to the hospital with my friends that day and checked in, and I was telling the staff that Cedric was coming. Obviously I couldn't smoke weed at the hospital, but I was still now presently hearing voices that had evolved from screaming and crying to full-on sentences. They let me go, which was stupid because I was still extremely unstable. I now believe that these ex-Scientologists were spying on me and hiring paid actors to interact with me. I got arrested twice and trespassed from my local grocery store because I was actively talking to myself the whole time. Anyways, things eventually calmed down when I took a bus to Portland and my therapist was like, bro, you need to check in again. So I checked myself into a hospital in Portland, and this time, they forced me to stay by state law for 3 days, so I actually wasn't allowed to leave, which I think is a really smart law because most people don't understand how badly they need to be treated in psychiatric care. So I received the diagnosis of bipolar-type schizoaffective disorder. I was given mood stabilizers and antipsychotics and leveled out. I don't remember much from my first episode, but I did threaten and terrorize one of my roommates to the point that he left the house for a while. But I don't remember what I did every day or things I said to people. Earlier this year, I stopped taking my medication stupidly. You see, when you're raised as a Scientologist, you've been conditioned to not believe in medication and are actively encouraged not to take it. The church still had some influence on me. My second episode began in much the same way. More weed, less sleep, less food. I thought I was going to be homeless, so I spent a bunch of time driving around Portland to scout out places to sleep in my car. The problem is, I don't really remember anything that I did during the episode, and that's what scares me the most. I could have done some really messed up shit without recalling it even. Back to Leah Remini and Cedric, the voices that I hear on a daily basis have evolved into active threats to cancel my YouTube channel. The voices accuse me of doing really messed up things that I won't repeat because they are legitimately too gross. It's hard to tell if they're real, but they feel very real. Surely these actual celebrities wouldn't get enough of a shit to follow around Moldy Bagel. Who knows? I'm just worried that they caught me doing something I don't remember. I'm truly not myself in Psychosis. I'm completely different, volatile, and dangerous. If I don't take my meds, I become completely psychotic in a matter of days. It was a very big mistake that I won't be making again. I just think it might be too late based on the threats that I'm hearing. Regardless, I ask you all kindly, if I receive some sort of allegation, please allow me to make a video in response before you pass judgment. I have been through hell and to the hospital many times trying to piece myself together into someone capable of making videos again for you all to enjoy. I know the whole people spying on me thing is probably worrying, so I hope it's a psychotic illusion as much as you probably do. For now, I'm just doing my best, and I hope you're doing your best. Once again, I need to thank you for the success of this channel. I feel incredibly lucky. I'm going to school for a master's degree, and I really need to give it my full attention, so it might be a few years before you get new videos. Anyways, hopefully this didn't sound too awkward. Now you've learned why I usually do text on screen instead of talking. I sound goofy as hell. Alright, goodbye!